Hello everyone and welcome back to ATM7 to the Sky. We had some fun making zaps last episode, getting into FTB industrial contraptions. We also made some long overdue applied energistics upgrades to our molecular assemblers and crafting CPUs. And we finished the episode tweaking ore processing and making sulfuric acid. In our quest to reach the star, we're actually getting closer and closer, you know, I was double checking our progress. And to be honest with you, we're actually not as far away as I thought we were. But still, we have some pretty big things to take care of before we can even consider making the star. The biggest of which is probably going to be nuclear reactors from Mechanism. But today I want to start with making dragon souls. I have no idea what 8 of these items are. Sometimes it's not a bad idea to go straight into the deep end and go headfirst into the unknown. But let's start with something we do know, and that is we have Dragon's Breath. One of the 8 items right here. We make Dragon's Breath from the Ender Dragon data models. Those are run through loot fabricators and we get 16 at a time. So 48,000 should cover us, right? I think we only need like 12 or something like that. So the first little mini project today is going to be the automation of Botania. Our next item in the list is dragonstones, which we can get from throwing mana diamonds through this portal. Apparently that was the first time we ever done that. But yeah, let's automate the process. One quick question though, does the open crate work sideways? Can we rotate this? Maybe not. Nothing like a little bit of vanilla redstone to get us going. One of the other actually we don't need this mana spreader here anymore. That was from ages ago. We have to also make sure we have mana to trade with the elves in these mana pools. So I hooked up some mana P2Ps underneath, which of course are connected to the input P2P on this side here. So as for the automation, we have a pattern provider underneath a dispenser that has the recipe for mana diamond to dragonstone. And then we have a basic vanilla clock here, comparator clock. Once the elves trade us back the dragonstone, it gets picked up by the accumulator. Or it should without our magnet on. And then underneath we have the ion pipe sending it back to the ME interface here. Very, very simple setup. And there's lots and lots of ways you can do this. But there's not necessarily a right or wrong way. That's the fun of automation, right? But it works, and we should be able to encode any other recipe that we need from the Elven Gateway here. But we have kind of skipped a step here, right? We haven't automated mana diamonds themselves. Mana diamonds are made just by throwing diamonds inside a mana pool. So let's also set up some very simple automations for these guys. And I think this time we will use the open crate, since we can just drop directly down on these things. And we'll actually set up 2 of these guys. One has already got the alchemy catalyst underneath, which does change up the recipes. I don't know if we actually need to do this, but if you throw, for example, blaze rods inside the mana pool with the alchemy catalyst underneath, you get nether wart. A useless recipe for us, right? But there's some other things in here that might be useful. I don't know. Scrolling through this, maybe not. But let's just do it anyway. And before we do, actually, one of you guys commented that the mana pool will actually delay itself until the burst of mana reaches its destination. So this is actually a bit slower than it should be. What we really should do is actually push this right up against the P2P tunnel. And we'll instead put the pool right here. And I think move this P2P. Oh, it's going to break it. Yeah, we're going to have to relink all the P2Ps. So we got 2 underneath the portal, 1 underneath the enchanter. There should be 1 on the agglomeration plate side, and 1 on the runic altar side over here. And we don't want to void all this mana, right? So we can put another spark down and put a recessive augment on this one. That's going to get rid of all this mana. And now we can break it without losing too much. So now I think hooking up these mana pools is the last thing we actually have to do with Botania in this pack. So all we're going to do is label 2 pattern providers. One is just going to be mana pool, and the other one is going to be mana pool catalyst. Those are going to sit on top of both open crates. We should still have some channels here to work with. Yeah, we're only using 22 on this line, so we can just extend it up the wall and plug these in. And the last thing I suppose is of accumulator, which we will have to set filters for. And similar to the portal setup, all we have to do is send this back to our AE system. We can just have an interface and a pipe underneath. And that is pretty much all there is to it. Let's just clean up this area before we move on. And finally encode all of the recipes. So we want the diamond. Oh, there's actually a lot, 43 pages. We'll do the essentials though. We also need mana steel. This will also become useful when we make the 2 final runes for the star. Oh, mana glass, we can do this one as well. I've been using this around the base quite a bit. Mana powder and mana pearls is I think the only ones that we need right now. And now once we set the accumulator, we should just be able to have mana diamonds on request. Let's do like, I don't know, half a stack. Easy. Which neatly wraps up the second item on our list today, so we can remove Dragon's Breath and Dragonstone. We ain't done with the dragons though, we need their scales and their eggs. Alright, so to get started with our next quest, we need something called the Mystical Dagger. And for that we need Edelwood. Our favourite villager is going to sell it to us, I think. Yeah, I mean not him, but the market will sell us the saplings. The saplings we're just going to grow a little bit here. The trees are absolutely tiny, but we don't need too much of this wood. We also need something called a Dark Rune. The normal runes we can get from our civs, and everything else here we can just craft. The last item for the dagger is arcane gold. The only thing we don't have from here is Mundabitter dust, and I think the only thing we don't have for this is phantom membranes. I mean, we don't have it automated, we've had our fair share of phantoms here. So I just went ahead and set up this phantom data model here, which should give us plenty of phantom membrane. And of course partitioned the relevant cells and added some storage here in our subnet. We are going to need this arcane gold and this Mundabitter dust for something else later on today. But now we should be able to pick up our dagger. And we have to come over here to the end dimension. We're looking for the end city ships. I have already raided a few of these in the nearby area. Using the map is probably not a bad idea. I think I've got this one already. Yeah, what we're looking for is dragon heads. We can craft the dragon heads with the mystical dagger to give us dragon scales. I think we should try to figure out how many of these we actually need and if we should automate dragon heads or not. And to my knowledge, the only way I think to do that is with mystical agriculture. Oh, a Wixie shard. I think we need that as well. Oh, and we can get dragon scales in the chests here. Okay, I did some rough calculations. I think we need like 106, I think is the number I came out with. 106 of these dragon scales. And that is 35 end city ships. Do we want to raid 36 ships, or do we want to just set up the farm for this? If we give in to mystical agriculture now, I mean, it's kind of admitting defeat, right? Accepting defeat though at this stage, not something I'm willing to do. So yes, I really did go and grind out all of these dragon scales. But you know what, it actually wasn't as bad as I was first expecting. Had some fun in the end. I picked up a little bit extra. It was only 84 that we needed in the end. I did do a recount, my math was off the first time. So with the scales we can craft golden dragon scales along with arcane gold. And the golden dragon scales we can craft together with dragon eggs, which we also get from hostile neural networks. And this will give us the arcane dragon egg, the fourth item off our list today. So this leaves us with 3 remaining, the Piglich Heart, the Dark Soul, and the Empty Soul Gem. Starting with the Piglich, these are found in the Other Dimension. I feel like there should be a better name for this place. The Other Dimension. Oh, interesting, there's 2 portals here. That might be because I moved it. I brought with us a mob swab, so hopefully we can make a spawner for these guys. These are piglin, this is not what we're after. Hey, you know what? This is actually a cool dimension. I thought it was all just the sand biome, but no, there's all of these like magical enchanted forests. It's pretty awesome. And dangerous. Oh, okay. This looks ominous. What are we gonna find here? A lot of spawners. Okay, this is some sort of structure. Oh my goodness, look at this. Oh, you know what? There is these huge patches of soul sand. We're gonna craft up the soul extractor, and from what I've read, we can actually gather our next item off the list, this dark soul. I think we just have to right click, right? Yes, and this gives us regular souls, and we can craft that together with corrupti dust, which we made earlier on as part of the dagger. I'm gonna get quite a bit of this. So after gathering a few more souls, I went back to that structure we found, and digging down underneath brings us into some sort of a dungeon, and there is so many mobs under there. If it wasn't for our armor, we would definitely be toast. Lots and lots of spawners, which is actually good because we need the spawner shards. And we can also get nuggets of Voldemortium here. I believe this is where we can find the Piglich though. I could be wrong. Let's keep going. Oh, this looks like some good loot, but it's actually garbage. There's nothing here we need. All these Vexes are kind of scaring me. I'm not gonna lie. I continued to search for the Piglich, totally not getting lost in the process. And at some point after going around in circles, I don't know how many times, I began to wonder if we were actually in the right place or not. Just to double check, I came across a second one of these structures, and clearing that thing out, well, we did get some more Aldemodium and Vibranium, which was quite nice. We did not stumble upon any Pigliches. But after doing some research, it turns out we need to find some pyramids inside the desert. We're in the right dimension, just not the right structure. I crafted up this compass to help us find the structure, and it was over 3,000 blocks away. But we did manage to find it and our Pigliches, lots of them. Unfortunately though, you can't swab these guys or mob duplicate them from Industrial Forgoing, so we're going to have to come up with some other method to farm them. All of that though we're going to do later in the episode, and I just realised we spawned a raid. I think I had the bad omen effect from the other dimension. Yeah, here they are. Oh, you know what? We have to protect Taz, King and Dorothy from last episode. I feel like vanilla mechanics are a little bit misplaced in a mod pack like this. It's just like such a non-threat. It's look, what is he doing? Oh yeah, he actually did hit me there. Inside the recipe for the star, you may remember this probability device. One of the other items we need for this is an eternal obsidian skull. For this we need an Eternal Stella. And to make this we need a Hephaestus. And to make this we need a Hephaestus. And to make this we need one of these forges that I can't pronounce. Oh, that word is impossible. We are going to start over here with the addition of another igneous extruder, packed ice and lava. And this should give us darkstone. Oh, we have to give it deep slate underneath. Yeah, this gives us darkstone. We're going to add this into a drawer somewhere over here. I'm sure we can squeeze it in. After building out the forge with the darkstone, one of the things we need to operate it is crafted using potions. And we actually have some spare potion brewers we can use for this. All we have to do is set some filters and request some items from AE. And it's going to take empty bottles into water bottles, then into awkward potions. Using gas tiers it's going to make regeneration potions, and adding glowstone will make it regeneration 2. Probably not something we need to automate, to be honest with you, but I mean, we had the spare one here anyway. And just down from the potion brewers here, I built out our forge. This is a mechanic I've always been curious about. I basically just followed this ponder screen. The normal darkstone you can craft with arcane gold to give you all of these different variants. But you have to be careful with this chiseled arcane polished darkstone. It's not the same as arcane chiseled darkstone, even though they look very, very similar here. I think I got the right one though. Anyways, what we have to do to activate this is put a smithing table down in the middle, and then right click with some Mundabitter dust. And we got the forge, which cannot be pronounced. This thing. It looks pretty cool, right? Oh, and the rain started. Should go off any second. Yes, the power of Teru Teru Bozu. That's another one I can't... On a slight side note, we got a lot of enchanted books, and I noticed that stable footing actually exists in this. I'm going to put this on our boots. And this will negate the penalty when you're flying for mining speed. It's really, really nice to have that. So the forge today we're going to use to make things unbreakable. That's one of the uses for this thing. It's actually mostly used to make enchanted books, not something we actually need though in this pack. We'll mostly be using it for this recipe here, the Eternal Stella, which of course we do need later on to make these obsidian skulls for the star. But at least today, what I want to use it for is night vision charms. So I got brewing stand here, we got some awkward potions. I think it's golden carrots, right? If I remember correctly. Yes, I do remember correctly. I want to make the 8-minute version, which means we need redstone. And with these, I want to make the charm of night vision, which as you know does have durability. Oops, not the charm of knowledge. The charm is a very similar thing we used for Unobtainium Sight when we went to hunt in the end dimension. So yeah, whenever you use this, it will give you the buff. However, this thing will eventually run out of durability. We can fix that though with the forge. And using the Eternal Stella we can craft, it will make basically any tool or item unbreakable. So from the little bit of reading I've done for this thing, we need the souls that we collected from the other dimension, from the soul sand. We also need bottles of enchanting, which we actually do have fully automated down here. That's item number 2, I believe these go in this slot. This top one up here is the Oriel bottles, crafted using our regeneration 2 potions and arcane crystal dust. Wait, we're at 49,000 arcane crystal. 49,000 is not a number we want to be at. That means we have to upgrade the drawer. Yeah, here, we're missing drawer upgrades. And the last item over here is some sort of a tube. Is that what it's called? Yeah, a test tube. Glass bottle in a rune, that's very easy. These things do have to be filled though, which we can do using our dagger. The mystical dagger we used for the dragon scales. And now suddenly all of the wildlife is gone. There's a chicken. I think killing any entity gives you something. Yeah, we got 80 blood. Alright, we got just over 1 filled here. There is 3 more things we need to activate this. Actually 4 more. This is quite a lengthy process. We need to surround this thing with pedestals. We need stellarite, which we can find, I think, in the Twilight Forest. I'm not sure where we're going to get more of this, to be honest. I did go and get a little bit from the other dimension. And we also need X-petrified orbs, which we can also find in ore form in the other, and I think in the Twilight Forest as well. And these things go on the pedestals. We need a diamond in the forge, and I think that's us. We also need some sort of a gavel or a hammer. Let's try this thing, a blacksmith gavel. It's from the same mod, I assume it's this. Oh, that is awesome. That's pretty cool. Yeah, we should get our Stella any second. It's taken a while. Okay, that must have taken a good minute or so, but look, we got our Stella in the middle. Nice. Oh, and it has 3 uses on this thing as well. Alright, so now we should be able to combine this in the smithing table with the charm. We get a fancy tooltip. And it should now be unbreakable. We have permanent night vision, and I think this works with almost any charm we want. Yeah, there's a number of potion effects we could probably use this on. Unfortunately, we have the magnet in the charm slot, which means we have to hold it in our inventory or trade the magnet. You know what? We don't have to trade. We can do both. We can go with the Ring of Magnetization from Botania. This will actually test if we get mana steal. It looks like it did craft. Awesome. That way it goes in the ring slot and we can free up our inventory. We don't need to carry this charm anymore. Awesome. So why did we make that side tangent for the night vision? Well, I think it's going to make it a bit easier to start farming these pigliches. For the second last item, we've got the Dark Soul. Yeah, Piglich Hearts. We need to get our hands on these guys. I have a feeling we'll be teleporting between dimensions quite often, so I want to see if these teleporters from Mechanism work cross-dimensionally. We'll set them up next to the ones we already have over here. All we have to do is assign a frequency. We can give it RF with a flux point, and instead of flying 3,000 blocks in whatever direction it was, I'm going to test it right here. Same frequency, and does it work? Aha! Awesome. Oh, wait a sec. It doesn't work going back. It might be because it's not chunk loaded. I think that's what it is. Okay, at least we know it works. The idea though is we're going to farm the pigliches where they spawn. Since we can't get them to spawn anywhere else, we can't duplicate them or spawn them in external spawners, as I mentioned. So we have to rely on natural spawning. Which direction was this in? Yeah, way over here. Look at this. 3,000 blocks. Alright, we made it back to this pyramid. Fortunately for us, this spawns really perfectly in the terrain. It cuts through everything. And the pigliches, from what I understand, will spawn anywhere inside this box. Oh, and apparently we lost all of our levels. I didn't die. I think it's just from changing dimensions. Anyways, the idea is we want to remove everything here, the whole pyramid. Actually, we should keep it marked out. I'll leave this bottom layer in so that we know exactly where the pigliches can and can't spawn. Actually, I don't know if there's anything decent in here. More spawners. Lots of Alumodium. It's probably worth picking that up, to be honest. Yeah, once we clear all the chests, we'll probably end up using the destruction gadget. We don't need to keep any of these blocks, we just need to get rid of them. Okay, I'll admit I had a bit too much fun with this destruction gadget. And let me tell you, those guys were mad. They are mad. So now that we got a completely flat spawning area, we need some way to funnel them into the middle. Oh yeah, by the way, look at all this gear we got. And all these enchanted books as well. If you want enchantments, that's the place to be in the other dimension. But yeah, we need some way to send the mobs into a central location. I'm thinking some sort of a conveyor system. Mob fans I don't think will have enough range. We are going to need a lot of these to cover the whole pyramid. The only thing is it takes sugar, which we do not have automated right now. Hopefully the massive sugarcane that we had growing at the start of the series is going to carry us here. We still have 2,000. That should be enough, right? Oh yeah, and the teleporter does work, as long as you chunk load the area. So yeah, what I done was left the outside ring of the pyramid. We're going to put the floor right here on the same level as the last block. I'll fill all of this in, actually. We'll make an infinity wand, I think, to make this a bit easier. And we'll just fill this whole pyramid in with stone. Assuming these guys will actually let us. It's so nice being able to access the AE system over here as well. It made looting the whole place a lot easier, since we could just dump everything in the drives, right? Oh, I missed a chest. I'm also going to exchange out the edges here with obsidian, just to give us a nice clean border. I guess the downside to switching to the Botania magnet is there's no keybind for it, so we can't turn it off easily without the flower. Alright, so we got a completely flat area now. I marked out the top of the pyramid. This was the last natural spawn. I just put a block of obsidian above that. Which means that around here is the maximum height that these guys can spawn. I don't know if we end up making this multi-layer. We'll see what the rates are like when we finish this thing. But what we have to do now is find the center. I think it'll be a 2x2 center since this is even numbers that this generates in. And then basically just funnel them all into the center with the vector plates. Please tell me we can place these with the wand. Oh, we can. It's quite precise, but we can manage. I found that it was actually easier if we placed down sand first and then exchanged those for the vector plates. And we're left with this. We've only got the one quadrant covered here. So just after the obsidian, this is the original obsidian we had. We've got bottom slabs one block above that. We're going to cover the whole farm since these guys need below light level of 8. The vector plates are on Y level 99. And we've went down to 71. I don't know if this is going to work or not. This is all about experimenting. So we're going to put a block of redstone. I want to see how quickly these guys can be taken out, because you may have noticed these guys have 5,000 HP. It does nothing. He lost some HP, I think, from fall damage, but look, this is not doing anything to this guy. Okay, we know the mob masher doesn't work. We need a second way. I don't know what we're going to do. Okay, this has to work. I've got a mob crusher from Industrial Foregoing. We got some range add-ons in there. Let's see. Oh, yeah. That was instant. That's exactly what we need. Awesome. And we get gear from this. Is there any way to recycle this? I guess there is if we use Tinker's Construct. Although I swear I could have seen something in the patch notes about them removing that. I might have to look into that actually. Anyways, first inventory we're going to have 2. That's the wrong way. And then all we need is some sort of item collection and an ender chest to send all of the items back to our base. I think we'll store and process all of this back at our base. It's going to be easier than doing it here. And I think we'll move it down to ground level. 2 ender chests on top of this. I believe these machines now can push. Hopefully that's going to be fast enough. We'll do triple yellow for all the modium. And it looks like we've got some entity cramming going on here. Let's get rid of this barrier. Oh my goodness, look at that. That is absolutely insane. These things are kind of too fast. Wow. And we can get rid of this middle pillar here as well. Okay, is the crusher working? It looks like the crusher is working. Oh, this is so awesome. Yeah, and we're getting our loot here. Look at all these Piglich Hearts. Oh my goodness, we need a way to deal with this. Oh yeah, and we have to cover the rest of the farm. Let's do that really quick. So back at the base, we got a bit of a storage system here. I mean, not much of a storage system. It's a drawer placed randomly in the base. I don't really know where we can place things like this. For now, we filter everything into the trash can except the Piglich Hearts. And it's not going up right now because we don't have it chunk loaded. I don't know if it's a good idea to chunk load. I might just AFK for like 30 minutes and we're going to get all we need. I kind of forgot to mention, the other reason we need these Piglich Hearts, other than the Dragon Soul, is actually for Unobtainium Allthemodium Alloy. We need this in block form, which is one of the last items we need for the star actually. It goes all the way around the outside. It's going to be a couple hundred, or maybe a couple thousand Piglich Hearts in total that we need. And I mean, with this quick and dirty setup here, like, it's going to be no time at all. Look at this is insane. It looks like maybe the crusher isn't actually fast enough down there. You guys actually kindly commented last episode when we set up the drill that we actually can put in efficiency upgrades and it does make it faster. So I might go back and do that on the drill for Iridium. But I guess we can also put them in here. But yeah, I think the Piglich Hearts is really all we're interested in here. There's a bunch of gear. We can always filter it out later if we want it. However, we have one more item, one more order of business today, and that is empty soul gems. We can unpin Piglich Hearts. So the empty soul gem is an occultism item. Occultism is not a mod I've ever played with before, so I'm going into this completely blind. It looks like we have to do some sort of sacrifice, some sort of pedestal craft, and we need a genie book of binding. I should probably do some reading, hold on. Okay, some partial knowledge has been acquired. We're at least starting the mod, right? We got some of the materials here, so just a note on how to start this in the Skyblock version of the pack. We start by bone meal and some grass in the Twilight Forest. From this we get Demon Dream Seeds. Bone meal a few of these, we get the fruit. The Demon's Dream fruit we can then set on fire and we should get some sort of a spirit fire. If we toss in some andesite, we get other stone. The other stone we can use for the sacrificial bowls. There's a bunch of other conversions such as black dye. I used that to get this book. And that's basically where we're at. So we have to figure out how to actually get this ritual to work. According to the Dictionary of Spirits, we have to use Striggier's Higher Binding, which is how we bind the genie, I think. I think that's what I'm gathering from this. Yeah, on the next page it says uses for the soul gem. This is exactly what we need, right here. How do we do this? Oh yeah, did I mention this was my first time doing occultism? Some of you guys are probably screaming at the monitor, but I'm going to figure this out. Hold on. Not quite. Still not. There we go. You're coming with me. No, you're not. How do I work this thing? I think now we need the Afrit book. Oh, no, I have this backwards. We need white and purple chalk first. No, this isn't right. I think first we eat the fruit, then we can toss the sapling. We get the Otherworld sapling, and now we can grow this sapling. Eating the fruit again gives us the third eye effect. We can pick up Otherworld wood. Alright, nice. We'll do it again. Smelt up some other stone. Should get some sort of ashes from this. Toss the other wood. We get Otherworld ashes. Craft these two together, we get our white chalk. Impure white chalk. Trade these with the spirit fire. We get purified white chalk. Okay, we need the purple version. How do we get this one? Obsidian dust, endstone dust, and another white chalk. Oh, it has to be occultism endstone. Crushed endstone, which we can only get from the crusher spirit. This keeps getting deeper every time I look at this book. Oh man, this mod. Okay, how do we get the crusher spirit? There is no crusher spirit. Alright, turns out we need something else called a butcher's knife. And we have to slice... It mentions cows, but I don't know if these guys work. Pigs, cows, sheep, horses, or llamas. Yes, we get our tallow. This is what we need to craft candles. This is just a big wild goose chase. I don't even know if any of this is going to work. I guess we're about to find out. Alright, first of all, we need Aviar's Circle, which is white chalk only, and the candles. These are going to have to be rearranged. Alright, this we can manage. We got our white chalk. I'm assuming we just draw it out like bewitchment. And our candles round the outside. Oh yeah, and I found the crusher recipe here. We need iron, gold, copper, silver. The middle item is going to be the Book of Foliot, like this. Is this going to work? The candles are flickering. Oh, it is consuming the items. Okay, patience, patience. I just want to know we're on the right track here. We got something. Are you going to crush our endstone? We don't have too much left, actually. You going to crush it? It sounds like he is. Oh, we are on the right track. Crushed endstone. Nice. Okay. Okay, now we can make golden chalk. Hello, llama. Meet the butcher knife. Trade it in. The next tiers of chalk is going to allow us to do the higher rituals. We need white, golden, and purple. So the white and gold we have, the purple we can use our crushed endstone. Trade it in. And the last thing I can see around here is these crystals. Supported by spirit-attuned crystals and stabilized by candles. Okay, we have the candles. Spirit-attuned gems. Oh, this is just diamonds. Trade them in. Aha, 4 spirit-attuned crystals. Okay, the last thing is we need a bit more space for the other ritual. And that is going to look something like this. Striggier's Higher Binding. We have all of the colours of chalk to fill this in now. And the crystals. And the candles. We need one more set of sacrificial bowls. And then diamond, copper, gold, silver. 4 soul sand. And the genie book. Has to be bound. Oh, it's working. Well, well, would you look at that? I still have no clue what is going on. I think these soul gems actually can be used to pick these guys up. Yeah, but we did it though. We can make our soul gems. I think we only need like 12 in total, but it's easy to make more now that we've got all this chalk and the ritual stuff, right? And it turns out we actually didn't need this cow here. I think I was reading the wrong part of the book. Man, I have no clue what is going on for the last 2 hours. But yeah, we can get rid of the empty soul gems out of our pin list here. And it also means that we've achieved the goal of the dragon soul today. We've got everything encoded, and that is the first one. Quest complete. Oh, that's actually our first quest in the creative chapter. The Master of Dragon Sword. Hey, that's pretty cool. We need to make some sort of a trophy room. Anyways, that is going to wrap up today's episode. A little bit chaotic at the end. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I certainly did. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next episode.